All right, so I'll wrap up this show. And again, Kyle Hunter not able to join us because he and his family sick here today. But I'll wrap this up with some New Year's resolution types of thoughts. And, as I mentioned, one of the things I've found in the NFL is that, situational handicapping, I probably weigh it a little bit too much in the NFL and really across all sports because, a lot of those tried and true types of things worked, in the past. But you've got, players that are on much different health regimens now. You've got guys that are just the physical shape of players across all sports now is nothing like it used to be. It is so much more advanced. So, maybe those situational spots aren't as relevant as they used to be. Now, of course, back-to-backs in the NBA is still very relevant and things of that sort. But, I think that I really need to look at scheme and coaching more, not just in the NFL, but really across all sports. That's something I am really looking to incorporate a lot more here from a college football standpoint, working special teams into the equation a little bit more as well. But you always want to be reevaluating and sort of trying to adapt. And it's easiest to do this at the end of a season because, during the year, you're handicapping, you're looking at all these games, you're breaking everything down. And for me, I've talked about this before, and this isn't an excuse, this isn't a crutch, it's not anything like that. The sheer amount of things that I cover for Bang the Book and the sheer amount of things I need to be aware of and understand and research, does make it tough sometimes to dive into the personal handicapping of all of these games, of everything that's going on. So budgeting my time is something I'm really going to need to do a lot more effectively next year in the sense that, maybe I do less writing. Maybe I do, a little bit shorter writing. I mean, my MLB season win totals, for example, coming in at about 3,000 words a piece usually. Maybe cut those down and really focus on what matters more, as opposed to looking at the entire total picture, the all-encompassing picture of a game or a season or of a team, something like that. Focusing on the details that matter the most. You sort of need to be really efficient with your time and really prioritize what matters more to you. And that's something I think that I'm really figuring out here with my progression as a handicapper and as a bettor is realizing what I need to prioritize across the different sports leagues. And it's an ongoing process. It's something that you're always going to be working on, something that you're always going to be evaluating. And if you want to do this seriously, and if you're listening to shows like this and reading our Bang the Book content, I understand you want to do this seriously. So you need to really take stock of what you're doing, of what you want to achieve, of what you want your bankroll to look like at the end of the year. You have to be evaluating all of these different types of things. And if you're somebody who listens to this show because you like to gamble for fun or you like the different perspective it gives you on the games, that's fine and keep it that way. Not everybody's goals in this business need to be the same. For some people, they want to do this professionally. For some, they want to do this as a supplement. For others, they want it to be an escape. They want to be able to sit down and watch a Monday Night College basketball, but have some action on that game and sort of give themselves a reason to watch. So that's another important thing, not for me, but for you. As we head into 2019 here, understand what your handicapping and betting goals are. Understand what you want to achieve. Do you want some extra money in your pocket for this? Do you want to do this in a professional capacity someday or, be somebody who does move around significant money? Or do you just want to keep it fun and light and, bet what you can? Obviously, you always want to bet what you can afford to lose. But, just bet small amounts. Have interest in the games. Understand what it is that you want out of this. That is one of the most important things that I can tell you. Breaking down games is important. Finding betting angles, studying the market, all of this is important. But you also want to know what it is that you want to achieve. Because that's going to dictate how much time you dedicate to this. What you look to do. What sorts of study you look to do on these games. Because if you want to take this really seriously, it is a massive time commitment. I don't know how many people reach out to me on Twitter or email or whatever else and say, man, I can't believe the volume you do. I don't know how you do it. This is my full-time job. This is what I do. I study the sports betting landscape. I break down games. I look at the industry. I look at lines. I talk about bankroll management techniques. I talk about all kinds of different things, but I can spend my 9 to 5 and then some, obviously, with the the volume that I do put out. I can spend my entire day, my entire working period on this business. And a lot of people can't do that because you have that 9 to 5 to fund a house and kids and school and car payments and all the other stuff that goes into living your life. And also, secondarily, tertiarily, I don't even know if that's a word, but your bankroll. That also funds your bankroll. So no, you can give that up. So maybe you have an hour or two a day to dedicate to handicapping. Well, if you understand the markets and you understand how they work, when are you dedicating that hour or two? Are you doing it the night before? Are you picking off overnight lines where they're softer, less efficient, there's more value to be had? Or are you handicapping the 2 hours before the 7 and 8 o'clock games go off? Well, you're probably losing some line value in that regard. You're probably making it even harder on yourself. And also, because that game tips off soon, you're rushing. You're rushing through to find the information. You're looking at one angle and saying, okay, that's enough, submitting your bet. The night before, you've got some more time to look at those different types of things and probably get a better number. So that's an important evaluation technique as well. If you are dedicating an hour or 2 or 4 hours or however many hours it is, when are you doing it? Are you doing it in the morning when you're taking that pre-work dump? Are you doing it the night before? Kids go to bed, you sit down and relax, wife's watching Netflix, you go and start handicapping tomorrow's card? Or are you handicapping right before the games go off? Because that's, again, part of the package of what do you want to achieve. If you want to just have fun with it and you're throwing some bets down before the games start so you can watch them, that's perfectly fine. That's what you want to do. That's perfectly fine. But understand that you're giving up line value, that you're giving up an edge, that you're giving up, maybe the time to find some additional information, something like that. So again, you have to evaluate what your goals, what your expectations are. And because my goals and expectations are always increasing, because again, this is my job. So not only with my personal handicapping, but also the fact that I will be suggesting things to my readers, to my listeners, all of that, the bar continually gets set higher for me. So that's part of my evaluation process. For you out there as an individual bettor and as an individual handicapper, what you want to achieve and the steps that you need to take to get there are part of your betting New Year's resolutions. This is a very complex, very complicated, very difficult industry to win long term. It is very, very difficult to win long term. So you have to have reasonable expectations and then decide how it is you want to achieve those goals. That is the biggest thing I can tell you heading into the new year. And this is something just because it's December 31st, it's a good time to talk about it. It's very time relevant. But this is something you want to evaluate at the end of each season or at the beginning of each season. Go back, track your results, look and see, okay, where was I really good? I need to focus on that more. I need to pay more attention to that. Nothing wrong with being a specialist in something. So this is, again, something where you always want to be evaluating yourself and evaluating what it is that you want to achieve, what it is that your schedule allows you to achieve. And again, with this being the end of the year, it's a good time to do that. It's a good time to put that frame of mind into effect and start really thinking about these things. The holidays are in the past now. Football season's winding down. We got, 4 playoff games this weekend, 4 playoff games next weekend, 2 the following weekend, a week off, and then the Super Bowl. You've got 11 NFL games left. You've got, 12 college football games left. It's a good time, if you're a football handicapper, to evaluate what you want your goals to be in the 2019 season because it's all fresh in your mind. And then you can set forth that blueprint, set forth that plan of I want to do A, B, C, and D, and then X, Y, and Z before the season starts again. So if there's anything I can, and this is something I've always wanted to achieve with this show. I've always wanted to push you in the right direction to do your own handicapping. Do we have people that sell picks on the show? Yes, we do. If you want to buy from them to see their process or to simplify things a little bit for you, I completely understand that. But our goal on this show from day one has always been to give you the tools to do this for yourself. And if you want that, that confidence, that affirmation from buying somebody's picks and seeing if their thought process is along the same lines as yours, use it like a class. Yes, you're investing in the picks. That's fine. I understand that. But also, too, think about Brad Powers' newsletter, okay? Think about college courses, right? Think about even a community college course or a career center course. Think about the cost involved with that. To buy somebody like Brad Powers' newsletter for $99, to get the picks and to get the thought process, that's where the real value lies. The picks are great, and he's having a great football season this year. But to get that thought process, it's like buying credit hours in sports betting. It's like listening to an expert or a professor in something. Listening to this show, it's a time commitment, doing an hour plus every day. It's free, which is nice. But it's a learning experience for you. It's a learning tool. That's part of the time that you have to dedicate to this business, because you're not just going to get better by spreading bets around the board day in and day out. You're going to get better with your process. And if your process includes the show, or your process includes reading write-ups and buying picks from premium handicappers, it's all part of the learning curve here for this business, which is a very hard one to be successful in. So some food for thought here at the end of today's show. And again, I will be evaluating myself as we go throughout the season here, maybe putting up an article at BangTheBook.com. I got a lot of stuff to do today, so hopefully I can get to something like this. But again, very important stuff that, a lot of other shows just going to tell you, well, bet this team and bet that team and here's why. And we do a lot of that on this show. But also, we tell you how to do this business. And we at least give you a good head start into how to do this business. And then it brings bankroll management into the equation and all that type of stuff. But again, understand what you want your goals to be for 2019 in this business, and then set that blueprint for how you want to achieve them. That's the biggest thing I can tell you here at the end of today's show. One other thing I want to tell you, I don't want to preach to anybody here, but if you're going out tonight, please designate a driver, Uber, Lyft, whatever the case may be. A lot of amateurs out there on the roads, as we all know, a lot of amateurs out there partying up the end of 28. Be safe, be smart, don't kill yourself or somebody else with a bad decision.